फॉर्मर सीजेआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ को अब सीजेआई की पोस्ट से रिटायर किए हुए 15 दिन हो गए हैं। आपको लगेगा कि इन 15 दिनों में अब उनको लेकर चर्चा कम हो जाएगी, हालांकि इसका ठीक उल्टा होते हुए दिखा है जब देश में कुछ हीटेड टॉपिक्स में उन्हें इन्वॉल्व करते हुए उन्हें काफी बैकलैश मिला है। अब ये बात जितनी सरप्राइजिंग और शॉकिंग है, उतना ही ये बात है कि फॉर्मर सीजेआई को पॉलिटिशियंस, एक्टिविस्ट से लेकर इवन एडवोकेट्स ने भी टारगेट किया है। सम अप करने के लिए कि एक्चुअली सीजेआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ को किन बातों के लिए फटकार पड़ी है, जर्नलिस्ट सौरभ दास की ट्वीट पर ध्यान देते हैं, जिसमें उन्होंने स्टेट किया है कि हाउ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू नोट दैट अ रिटायर्ड चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडियाज एक्शंस ड्यूरिंग हिज टेन्योर हैज लेड to two major outcomes post his retirement: communal violence and possible mobilization around it in UP, and BJP plus winning the state of Maharashtra. Of course, both benefited one. Interesting बात तो ये भी है कि फॉर्मर सीजीआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ इलाहाबाद और बॉम्बे हाईकोर्ट दोनों के ही एक समय पर चीफ जस्टिस रह चुके हैं। पर सवाल यही उठता है कि क्या दूसरों के एक्शंस की वजह से एक फॉर्मर सीजीआई को बैकलैश मिलना चाहिए? इस सवाल का जवाब आप डिसाइड कर सकते हैं। पर हाल ही में फॉर्मर सीजीआई ने भी इन मैटर्स पर चुप्पी नहीं साधी है और आखिर कौन सी बातें अपने लेटेस्ट और सबसे लॉन्ग इंटरव्यू में दी है, चलिए देखते हैं। ANI के साथ एक इंटरव्यू के दौरान सीजेआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ ने सबसे पहले सोशल मीडिया द्वारा उनके खिलाफ एलिगेशंस को क्लैरिफाई किया है और यही बात एड्रेस की है कि कैसे उन्होंने जजमेंट के पहले भगवान को याद करने की बात की थी, जिसे कि काफी गलत वे में इंटरप्रेट किया गया है।
You know, like everything else on social media, what I said has been misconstrued. Because what you say is then sort of compressed into, a small short of 20 seconds. And what you said on a particular occasion is then put forth in 20 seconds as your view, which is not so. Now, I must tell you that when I spoke on that occasion, just before I laid down office, I went to my own village, which is about an hour and a half from Pune. It's a village called Karnataka, which is predominantly an agricultural community. And I thought I must go to my village. We have a old house built in the 18th century, which was there. And I thought I must go there and finally meet everyone before I lay down office. During the course of my conversation, a lot of youngsters asked me, we see you on YouTube. Many of them have now left the village, like I left, and so many other people have left. How is it that you maintain an element of calm in the midst of conflict? And that was what I was specifically asked to speak on. And I said, well, everybody has their own formula. Everyone has their own approach to life. For me, the time that I spend in prayer and meditation every morning is what ultimately sustains me as a person. Because, of course, I didn't say that you didn't have to apply the law, the constitution to deciding individual cases. Obviously not. Even Ayodhya, the judgment of the court tells you whether the law and the constitution were applied or was it some divine intervention that was appealed to. So I think what I said on that occasion has been completely misconstrued.
जब फॉर्मर सीजीआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ को महाराष्ट्र इलेक्शंस के रिजल्ट में उनका हाथ बताया गया और सवाल उठा कि उनका इस केस में क्या कहना है, जहां यूबीटी फैक्शन के नेता सीजीआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ को टारगेट कर रहे हैं फॉर नॉट डिस्कसिंग द डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन केस ऑफ महाराष्ट्र, तो फॉर्मर सीजीआई ने क्या कहा है, चलिए देखते हैं।
The real problem is this, that a given segment of the polity feels that, well, you are independent if you follow my agenda.
Yeah.
That, you pursue my agenda, which is inclusive of cases which I think you should be deciding. We decided electoral bonds. Was that any less important?
Yeah.
It was a matter which dealt with the foundational structure.
Are you happy with that decision?
I'll come back to that in a moment.
Yeah.
We decided electoral bonds. That's one. We decided recently the Aligarh Muslim University case, the closure of the madrasas. Under an order of the Allahabad High Court. We have dealt with issues pertaining to the disability rights of individuals. Okay. Is disability in any way less significant than any of these cases that we are referring to? We have decided critical issues pertaining to the federal structure. This year, and these are all cases which we have decided this year, we decided the constitutional validity of Section 6A of the Citizenship Act, which gave citizenship to certain people who had migrated from Bangladesh prior to 25th of March, not CA, who had migrated prior to 25th of March 1971.
Okay.
Was that less significant? We dealt with a case on whether a constitution bench case on whether lakhs and lakhs of individuals belonging to not the highest strata of society, but the lower strata of society. The question was whether a person who has a license to drive a light motor vehicle can drive a transport vehicle below 7,500 kgs. Now, that would have affected the livelihoods of lakhs of people. We delivered judgment on that just before my term came to an end. Are these cases that we have decided? In fact, we decided 38 constitution bench references during my tenure, including this year itself. Are these cases any less significant than a particular case which we didn't decide or we couldn't decide? We decided last year, but I'm talking of the cases we decided this very year. Now, the cases which we decided this year, any of these cases which I have referred to earlier, are these cases less significant? Or do we then follow an agenda which others set for us that, well, you have to decide this case for me today. If you don't decide my case, then, well, you're not independent. This is something which is unacceptable. And the real problem today is this, and that's why, I must say this. It's because we have refused during my tenure as a Chief Justice. We have refused to be dictated by any third party on which cases to decide. Sometimes, very highly resourced persons come to the court and they try and suborn the system by saying, well, my case should be heard first. And this was a matter of concern to me as Chief Justice. Should we be listening to those cases only because the most resourced in terms of lawyers, in terms of the clients whom they represent, come to court and say, well, hear my case first? Sorry, we're not going to give that priority to people who are merely because they have resource and they have the ability to afford the best in terms of legal representation. When you sort of take cudgels for the system, for the ordinary Indian.
फॉर्मर CJI DY चंद्रचूड़ ने और भी कई इंटरेस्टिंग बातें इस इंटरव्यू में डिस्कस की हैं और कैसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के कॉलेजियम सिस्टम और पेंडेंसी ऑफ केसेस को भी डिस्कस किया है। चलिए एक बार दूसरे वीडियो में देखते हैं। Stay tuned with LawChakra। AIB क्रैक करना है, लेकिन कैसे करें स्मार्ट स्टडी और इफेक्टिव स्ट्रैटेजीज का यूज? नो स्ट्रेस, हम लेकर आए हैं आपके लिए एक अल्टीमेट सोल्यूशन। लॉ चक्रा के साथ आपको मिलेगा टॉप नॉच टिप्स और प्रूवन टेक्निक्स स्पेशली फॉर AIB और एडवोकेट ऑन रिकॉर्ड निशांत वर्मा के इनवैल्यूएबल इनसाइट्स के साथ 30 नवंबर को ज्वाइन करिए हमारे एक्सक्लूसिव वेबिनार में, जहां आपको मिलेगा ओपन बुक एग्जाम का सही तरीका और वो सब कुछ जो आपके AIB प्रिपरेशन को बूस्ट करेगा। हर क्वेश्चन का जवाब, लाइव इंटरैक्शन और एक्सपर्ट से अपने डाउट्स क्लियर करने का एक मौका। AIB टफ तो जरूर है, लेकिन राइट गाइडेंस के साथ ये अचीवेबल है। 30 नवंबर हमें ज्वाइन करिए और अपने सपने को एक और स्टेप अपने करीब लाइए। रजिस्टर नाउ।